Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Wind Waker. In the last episode, we gathered 2 Triforce charts and 2 Triforce shards. So that's kind of 4 pieces, half of the Triforce. Actually, more than half when you count what we got from the Savage Labyrinth. So this episode, we'll be continuing on with the gathering of Triforce shards. And just with that, as I also mentioned last episode, weirdly enough, all the Triforce shards are pretty much within this horizontal strip that we're currently in. So this episode we will be once again going one square to the east. Or is it 1 square to the east? Yeah, 2 squares to the east for once. Oh, how exciting. Over to the Doctor's Oasis. So, here we are at the Oasis, which we now own, which is awesome. If you haven't, by this point, got the 20 joy pendants and given them to Miss Marie, you need to do them now, because you need to have, we open up the delivery bag, we can find it, the Cabana deed. And so indeed, when you come up to the door, there's a kind of creepy butler there, who I've talked about before. We speak to him, and we speak to him, and he says, "Don't touch me with those filthy hands, you mischievous little scamp. This cabana belongs to the master and the master alone. You grimy little trespassing scoundrel. Away with you, away I say." But when we show him the Cabana deed, yeah, shoes on the other foot now. "You unclean, most foul, don't lay those grungy hands. Wait, Why, are you the new master? Are you Master Doctor? I am so pleased to hear that name. Master Doctor, please be gentle on this fine door." Slightly creepy that is a inanimate butler built into a door. But either way, there's a lot we can do here, potentially. There's a lot of kind of room for mucking around. There's this sliding puzzle that I suck at. I struggle with those sliding puzzles. And there's like 20 of them in total, and you get stuff for doing them. There's also, if you roll into the wall, there are these special jars. Well, it's not working for some reason, but there are those special jars up there, which you can break, and they have a lot of rupees in them. These are a special type of jar, found only here and in the auction house, which are known as extremely fine china vase, and as mentioned in the figurine description from Mila's fathers, are the sort of jar that one wishes to break upon seeing them. There's 4 in here, and each one gives you about 100 rupees for breaking, but only once. These rupees will the things themselves, the jugs themselves will respawn, but the hearts in them will not. But there's one more thing we can do here as well. Look at Link's eyes. He's looking up into the ceiling. And indeed, there's a grappling hook point in the ceiling. Yeah, slightly surreal, I know, but okay, let's roll with it. And when you swing around on that thing, it causes the fire to go out. Yeah, me neither. Either way, with the fire put out, you can drop into the fireplace and begin a little kind of like sub-dungeon we've got here. So, the main thing to note with this dungeon is that it is full of rats. And rats, if they hit you, well, not only will they damage you, but they'll also deal rupees. Deal rupees to you? Give rupees. Take rupees from you! That's what they'll do. Right, we want to come down. If we come down here, then we want to go this way. I'm just trying to remember the way through it. I have a very specific way through it. But if I don't start it off right, I will just get completely lost. So, I want to go left here. Then we want to go right here. You saw at the beginning there was a kind of split of ways. We could go either way there, but the other one is blocked for now. There are kind of a lot of back cuts on this that as you get to a certain point you can unlock the way back by pressing switches. That'll make more sense shortly. As we emerge here, and there are 2 switches. If we hit the one on the right here, that gate is where we just came from, so that's a kind of quick way back. And then this one on the left. It opens the one on the left, which is where we want to go. You can kind of see how this progresses. So we hop down here again. Now here there's 2 choices. You want to go straight on and kind of through this crawl space, and there's no choice of direction here, so I'll just speed it up. And then you get to the end with another ladder coming up here. There's more rats around, and yeah, they take about 20 rupees off you per hit, so it's something, if you can avoid it, do. Let's hit this switch again, and that unlocks kind of like another way back, and then kind of drop through this final hole. And we're surrounded suddenly by re-deads. That's worth seeing, that it kind of seems, this skull hammer seems to stun them. Wish I'd known that for the bloody Pit of 100... No, not the Pit of 100 Trials. Pit of 100 Trials is in Paper Mario. By the way, yes, when you kill them, there is then... You know this is the right way because you can't... There's no, like, way back up. Like, it doesn't give you a ladder back up, which is awesome. That's not awesome, but it tells you that you're going the right way. You reveal this, and you can kind of follow through here It's worth noting as well, we're almost on 4,000 rupees now. We can hold 5,000 on this, and it's a limit I've never actually reached, like the upper limit of the wallet. But who knows, maybe I actually might this playthrough. But when you continue crawling along here, plunk, that's me accidentally pressing the right stick. And then you kind of climb out here. This reminds me of under Kakariko Village, like under the Sanctuary in Kakariko Village in Twilight Princess. Or like under the well as well, it's got that kind of feel to it. But either way, there is a wind point, which of course, we know what that means. Yeah, it's very much got an under the well feel. Slightly less creepy, like under the well was sinister as anything. Though the entire Shadow Temple was really sinister. But yeah, wind pad. Which means, of course, chest appears, and when one of these chests appears, there's only one thing that's ever in them. It's another Triforce Shard, our fourth shard, but we've also got 2 charts, so there's only 2 more things to get. One more raw chart, and then one more kind of shard. If we hit that, then that kind of unlocks the way back, and now we can just, if we just follow along these pathways, there we go. And it takes us back out. It's a slightly confusing maze if you don't know what you're doing. You can wander around in there for ages and just feel like you're getting badly lost, but if you know the way through, it's really straightforward. Like I say, these vases have now respawned, but if we were to kind of like hit them this time, you would see nothing comes out. Shame. One-time thing only, but kind of cool to just know about. Put your hand up the butler's ass, why don't you, Doctor? You creepy bastard. So, that's everything we can do on this island. So now we're going to head across, I think at this time, yeah, it's 2 to the east again, this time over to Bird's Peak Rock. So in my opinion, Bird's Peak Rock is a pretty cool looking island. And I'll talk about what we need to kind of do pretty soon. But first thing, I'm just going to kind of collect this treasure chart thing here, which contains a silver rupee. Now, this may sound weird, but the thing I would really advise you do before here, especially because there isn't a beetle shop ship on this tile, is literally fill your bait bag with Hioi pears. There's a lot of seagulls flying around, so you can kind of see vaguely why I'm telling you to do that, but you'll understand more as we kind of progress. Basically, there's this cage here that we need to open. Has a hole in it, which is where we need to go. So firstly, we need to basically just go up here, which we do by grappling onto there, and then we don't actually need to swing anywhere, we just kind of climb up. And then hop up here. Once you get up here, there's briefly as well a blue choo-choo. That was unnecessary. Oh well. Blue choo-choo, which is one of the final ones in the game. I think that's 22 out of 23 now. We've only got 1 more to go, which is awesome. And now, if you look around the island, you will see there are kind of a number of nests. Some have cargo rocks in, some don't. All have little white switches in them, which are difficult to see. Firstly, what I would recommend doing is use your arrows to shoot as many of the cargo rocks out as you can. Let's see how well you remember Needle Rock Isle, because this is kind of like the challenge on this reminds me of that one quite a lot. And especially, obviously, there's a reason why I've told you to buy Hioi pears. Yep, shot that guy in the stomach. Let's shoot this one here. Oh, that's terrible shots. All of them. You need to kind of time this right. Either way, we can probably do without him. Let's get our first Hioi pears out. And let's begin. Hioi pears are a very good way of getting, just like if you want to get the fill-up coupons and stuff from the complimentary ID from Beedle, the memberships, the best way of doing that is just buy a load of Hioi pears and then just go outside a ship, use one, then just immediately press ZR to cancel it and stuff. Oh, I missed that one. So, there's still a cargo rock on this back one because you can't shoot him because he's in the wrong position. As you approach, he'll kind of like attack you. Ugh, missed it. You've got to make sure you flap like as you go past the thing, because it's only by flapping that you actually like hit the switch. That's that one done. Good. And you just got basically, there's about, I think it's 6 around the island, and then like circularly around it, and then the 7th one. No, it's 5 around it, and then the 6th one on the peak. That's another one done there. That's good. I'm not sure what the timer is on them, but I think it's pretty lax, so that's good. That it doesn't matter that it can take you a while between hitting them. That's fine. Let's go up and do the central one. As long as you kind of don't stop moving too much and flap fairly often, the cargo rocks actually don't really tend to catch up with you much. It's only doing maneuvers like this that are more difficult because you can't see where you're going. It's important to remember that only thing that I only learned recently, that it is possible, of course, to control the camera just with the left. Oh, yes! Okay, we just got it. Brilliant. Just as we got hit, we crashed into it. Yeah, you can control the camera with the left stick, and so it's worth doing that to make sure you can kind of see where you're going. So in here, it's another one of these chambers with, you guessed it, another wind sigil. So when we play the Wind's Requiem on there, chest appears, open the chest, and there's a Triforce Shard inside. I lied, there's not a Triforce Shard inside, it's a chart, I'd forgotten. But either way, another one for the collection. Only actually needed one high pair there, but anyway. We are now going to sail 1 square to the north, just up to Thorn Fairy Island. So, our main business at Thorn Fairy Island is here. There is a glowing patch, which contains... The fact I'm not speeding through this should show that it contains something kind of vaguely interesting. One of the last of its kind now, because we've been pretty damn good at gathering stuff. Indeed, it contains... a piece of heart. You've collected a total of 2 pieces. That means there's actually only 2 more entire pieces of heart to get in the whole game, because we've nearly finished the last one, so that's awesome. We've only got 42 now and 2 left. So now, we're going to go on a bit of a kind of an adventure here. Basically, I'm going to go to Overlook Island, way in the north, but going to go via Fire Mountain and 7-Star Isles just to collect some rupees from treasure charts. So, we visited this island once before, very briefly. Basically, it's a really cool looking island, I think, with like these kind of like... It looks like a kind of Caribbean, like proper naval fort. But yeah, we visited it briefly because there's a submarine in this tile where we got the, I think it was the secret cave chart from. But now we've got the hook shot, we can kind of actually get onto the island proper if the tide cooperates. Well, the swell. Up we go. There we go. It's nice that you can kind of grapple just out, straight out from the King of Red Lions. And then you just kind of progress along the kind of turrets this way. And come across this fellow here, who is of significance, massive significance, because that is our final blue choo-choo jelly thing in the game. So that's that kind of complete as well. We're getting everything kind of polished up in these later few episodes now, which is awesome. Really feeling a sense of completion now. Oh, right in the face. That was unpleasant. But yeah, I'm feeling a sense of completion now. There's a hole there, but the island actually allows you to progress slightly further up, because up here there is some random shit. It's really weird. I just thought I'd come up here just so I can talk about... It's really weird they didn't put the blue choo-choo up here. Would make so much more sense. But hey, let's go into the hole. And there's one of these kind of dungeons again that very much resembles the one we did on Needle Rock Isle. No, not Needle Rock Isle. Stonewater Island. But yes, now is a chance, just while I'm kind of fighting everything here, that I've got kind of a brief opportunity to talk about something I haven't talked about yet, which is the missing temples in this game. If you look at the map, which I'll just put up quickly now, you will see that all the big kind of islands that have temples on them and stuff like that, so like Dragon Roost, Forest Haven, things like Gale Isle and Headstone Isle, all have text on them, like a little bit of writing. You'll also notice that that Headstone Island, no, not Headstone Island, Fire Mountain and Ice Drink Isle also have writing on them. In the initial, like, early beta versions of the game, they were going to be full-on dungeons, like a proper ice-themed and fire-themed dungeon, but they were dropped for whatever reason, which is partly why people always say it feels like Wind Waker is missing dungeons. People have often said that, and I can kind of see what they mean, that it feels... Put it this way, after this we are doing the last dungeon, like, it feels quite short, relatively. There's only about 5 of them. Compared to other Zelda games where there's usually like 3, then something happens, then another like 3 or like 5 or 6 at least. So it does feel quite short, and that's because, yeah, they were originally planned to be these secret dungeons that, well, not secret dungeons, just additional dungeons that didn't make it into the final game. But either way, I just thought I'd kind of like talk about that quickly while I had this thing on the speeder. And so when you defeat all the enemies, like in the previous one, the central gate opens. This one was actually, yeah, a bit of a challenge just because multiple Dark Nuts can always be buggerly. Worth noting as well, just while we're here, if you smash these things, you can either use like enemies' weapons to do it or Skull Hammer. By the way, they always kind of tend to drop something. Some of them will drop like a lot of hearts and rupees. Like a couple of them did it in the battle, I didn't have the chance to get them. Yeah, you get shit like that, that's kind of just cool while we're here. But anyway, you can kind of see how this is going to go. But is that the right one? Yeah, it's the right one. If you come through here, oh look, it's a wind panel. And when we activate it, a chest appears. And then when we open the chest, it contains another Triforce shard. So we only need 3 more, and those are the 3 that we have in the form of charts. So, translations. We can do them at a certain place, but before doing that, there's actually something I'd like to do. So, I'm going to head back to Dragon Roost Island, and we'll see you there. Now, weirdly enough, there's something we can do here that will seem very strange, but you'll hopefully understand what I'm doing kind of when I get to it. So, what I'm actually going to do is head back up inside the island and actually to the entrance of Dragon Roost Cavern. So, it's kind of cool to see this area that we haven't been to in ages. Like, when we were last here, it was like a kind of ashy, messy wasteland, but now, like, the water looks quite clear and blue, which is quite nice. And then also, if you come up to this bit, that had the really annoying throw bombs in the jugs thing puzzle, that's entirely solidified, which is kind of cool. But you're probably asking yourself, Doctor, what are you doing back in a dungeon that you beat ages ago? The answer is, I didn't 100% it, because at the time, there was an item we needed to get something here, which we couldn't get because we didn't have the item. But now we do. We have a means of getting it. So, what we need to do is go into this kind of like, oh no, I'm gonna get hit, yep, die. Oh, those guys die so quickly now, that's awesome. Yes, what we need to do is head into the warp jug and pop out somewhere else. Now from here, this is a really odd maneuver, but it's the easiest way to get to where I'm going. You basically hop off, open up the Deku Leaf, turn straight around, and where we want to be is... oh no, not on here. Okay, that's not what I expected to do. I forgot this was here. So we need to wait for this to drop again. Oh no, this has gone very badly wrong. Hopefully I'll just respawn back up at the jug. Goody. Right, let's try that again from a more sensible way. This time we'll jump down here. And when you're about halfway down, open up the Deku Leaf. I think that might be a bit low, but hey, kill the geese. And what we need to do is just come through to this door here. I'm going somewhere specific. I'm going exactly well, you'll see in a second. So, if we jump and again use the Deku Leaf to glide down here, you'll see this place. If you looked on the map or anything like that, you'll see this place is here, but it doesn't have anything in it. You don't need to come here. It's a kind of little like bit that looks like it should be important, but isn't. It is, turns out. Drop a bomb here, and a chest appears. How very strange. Open up the chest and you will come across a somewhat unique item. You got the Dragon Tingle statue. It bubbles over with warmth. It will be waiting for you on Tingle Island. Yeah, the creepy bastard actually has statues, so that's disturbing. Either way, Tingle statues, I will talk more about why we're getting them when we've got all of them, but Tingle Island is where we need to go in order to get charts translated anyway, so we will be heading there. So I decided there's one Tingle statue in each dungeon, so I'm going to go through kind of all their locations now, so I'm going to try and get out of here without making a tit of myself, and I will see you in the Forbidden Woods for our second Tingle statue. And here we now, well, it's taken me about 20 minutes there because it's such a bugger to get to the Forbidden Woods, because not only do you have to do all that crap climbing into Great Deco Tree with the Boko seeds, but then you need to do all the kind of like flying between the island stuff, and it's a pain to get here. But either way, there's one specific place that we need to head to, so you've kind of walked like I've done to the yellow jug, then come through here, there's a corridor with some Mothullas on, who we can ignore. The Tingle statues as well. Originally they were revealed with, you may recall, the Tingle Tuner, anyone who's played the non-HD remake version of this irritating thing, kind of pointless, but vaguely almost interesting in times. But yes, that had the function to drop Tingle bombs, which revealed Tingle statues, which kind of did stuff. But in reality, no one ever really used them, so the Tingle statues were a very little known secret. But in this, obviously, there is no Tingle Tuner, so there's no Tingle statue, so there's no Tingle bombs. So Tingle statues are instead just revealed by normal bombs. But you do need to have them for something which I'm going to talk about when we go to Tingle Island to see them all and get our statues translated. Statues translated? Charts translated. Either way, in this room, there's this little platform over to the right here. Chuck a bomb on it, and oh dear. A chest appears. And this chest, like the other ones, contains the Forbidden Tingle statue. It's covered in sticky sap. Oh, the names of these and like the descriptions are just so disturbing. But anyway, you can kind of see how this is going. There's one in every major dungeon. The next few ones I could have got as I was going along, because I would have had bombs by that point, but I elected not to because I decided to do them all at the end in one run here. So now I will see you at the Tower of the Gods. So this one back in the Tower of the Gods is probably the most straightforward one, fortunately, because this dungeon can be a bit of a nightmare to navigate. But all we have to do is just wait for the water level to rise up here. Wait for the water level to rise up here. There we go. Thank you, game, for cooperating. And it's pretty much just straight ahead of us here. In this next... Ow. I keep doing that. Stop trying to roll upstairs, Doctor. It never ends well. In here, so there's a BMOS, which we need to kind of avoid. But then there's these platforms kind of moving up and down, so we jump onto them when they actually like come back down. There we go. And then this one's over here. The trick is always, if you're looking for tingle statues yourself, obviously there are guides online, and there's my guide here that I'm showing you, but if you're looking for them yourself, the key to look out for is things like this. Platforms and areas that don't seem to have a purpose. When you're just kind of like, what are they for? The answer is probably, they've got a tingle statue hidden on them. And now this one, I said last time that they have some quite disturbing names and titles and such. This one is by far the worst. If Dragon Roost had the Dragon Tingle statue, the Forbidden Woods had the Forbidden Tingle statue, then unfortunately I hate to announce that this one is the Goddess Tingle statue, and the pose is just unpleasant. Its salty seawater coating is kind of gross. They're all slightly sexual. Oh, that's new. Okay, didn't know I could do that. They're all slightly sexual. They're things like it's sticky sap and salty seawater. Ugh. Anyway, you can see how this is going. Now I will meet you at the Earth Temple for the next Tingle statue. So, now, back in the Earth Temple. This one is a... Oh. Let's try that again. So, now, back in the Earth Temple. This one is a bit of a trek through the temple. It's not particularly difficult to get to, and it's really easy to spot, I think. But it's just... It can take a while to get through to it, so I'll talk to you during that time and keep you entertained. I could have just cut, but I'm not going to. Apparently that's not the kind of person I am. So here's the creepy kind of like sun face statue crawling out of the ground. What we need to go is kind of like go down into its underbelly. And then, once we go down the spiral staircase, this one is probably the most conspicuous, because you will see, off to the left, there is this kind of like platform here. I haven't got enough magic for this. Shit. Oh, yeah, I'm just going to make it in time. Over here is this another platform where, like, what's the point of this? The answer, as ever, tingle statues. Let's wait for that bloody bubble to disappear first. Oh, he got killed in the blast, probably. Either way. Either way. I said either way and anyway at the same time there. Another chest appears, which, of course, contains... the Earth Tingle statue. It's cool and damp and smells like mould. Oh, they get worse and worse. Fortunately, there's only one left now, so I will see you now, finally, at the Earth... This is the Earth Temple. I'll see you at the Wind Temple. So, finally, the Wind Temple. This one is really kind of straightforward to get. Its place where it is in the temple is quite obvious and straightforward. Its actual place, like the place where it's hidden, is a lot less obvious than the other ones, I think, partly because it doesn't seem like... Whereas all the others have been on a platform that's like, I wonder what that's for. This one is not at all, it's just in like a random place where you wouldn't really expect anything to be. But it's just ahead of us here. Through here, past the Wind Temple trap, and then through here. And we get to this bit where Makar was kidnapped. All we need to do is just hop down here, and then it's weirdly enough... Get off. If we just place a bomb there... It's an odd place for it, I know, but hey, when the bomb goes off, reveals the chest there. Slightly odd place, as I say, because it's like not a secret platform or anything like that. Get off me, stupid creepy hand. Draining my magic. Oh, there's a lot of stuff going on during this cutscene. Things still got a hand halfway up my ass. But anyway, this time we get the final Tingle statue, which is the Wind Tingle statue. It's sandy and kind of rough. It feels weird. It will be waiting for you on Tingle Island. And indeed, that's what we'll be doing next. So it's been 20 minutes-ish, slightly more actually, so... we'll hold the episode there, but next episode, this episode we have gathered the remaining Triforce charts and shards, and the Tingle statues, and then next episode we will be heading over to Tingle Island to get the charts translated, and to check out the shit that we've been obtaining this episode. I have been the Doctor with the Infamous Gentleman, and this has been the Wind Waker. Good day.